Hey, everybody, and welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. This is Katie Weaver, and I'm here with my sister, co host, and partner in crime, Kristi Brower. Hello.
Hello. Hey, everybody. Welcome.
How's it going?
It's going so great. We
Well,
didn't
good.
get the blizzard we were supposed to get today. We didn't get 50-mile-an-hour winds. So, hey, things are awesome.
Right? Uh, it wasn't great driving to Boise, but
I would imagine. But,
some of
sitting
that
here on my
winter
couch,
weather
it was
was,
fantastic. I'll just say that.
yeah, definitely afoot. I ended up driving to Boise this afternoon, so I'm actually filming from my daughter's house, so I have a little different look tonight. I against this white wall, I'm looking at my white face and ugh. But whatever, it's fine. It's probably fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably is fine.
Yeah, for sure. Man, there's a lot going on
Oh,
in
my
the true
gosh.
crime world this week, per normal.
I think
But we
you
want to
just, man, today is like, holy crap. How many more updates can we get?
we're just in the weirdest energy this week.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody I talk to says all I want to do is lay on the couch. I'm very grouchy. I just feel shitty. There's just a lot of that afoot.
Well, it's just the week after the holidays. The
Hmm.
holidays are over. It's that sort of post-holiday letdown that a lot of
Hmm.
people experience. And, you know, we're all
Yeah.
recovering from eating and drinking too much and, that kind of thing. I certainly had
And,
way too much sugar. Um,
oh, me too. Yeah.
but,
Well, and Omicron is just
I think
running
it's just a
wild.
recovery week.
Yeah.
You're what?
Oh, I said Omicron is just running wild across the US,
Yes.
at least, across the world,
Yes.
actually. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is what it is. We're here, we're doing our thing. And you
Yeah.
covered more of the belligerent turd circus this afternoon in court. So
I did,
thanks for
and it
being
was
there for that.
really quite calm and, it was more like a professional attorney circus. It's just amazing still to like when Archibald is in court, like things are just like as you would expect them to be in a court hearing and
Right.
everyone's respectful of each other and no one
Yeah.
is freaking out or clutching their pearls or
Just like
whatever,
grown-ups are
you
there.
know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Well, and I want to sum it up, but let's say hello to the chat room. We've got
Mhm.
Cranky and GB, and I'm going to scroll down. I'm using someone else's computer, so I'm learning it. You know how that goes?
Yes.
GG. So we have GB and GG in the house. We have
Nice,
Fran,
nice.
we have Cranky, we have RJ, we have Allison. Hello, Allison. She's our
Hello,
biggest
hello.
fan. Thank you, Allison.
Oh, well, Allison,
Oh, she
thank you,
listens to
thank
us on her commute. See that would work for me. That
you.
would make a
Mhm.
commute easier to have a good podcast that you like, for sure.
Right?
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're here and the rest of you as well. And you guys definitely be safe. It looks like lots of winter weather around you guys as well.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
My daughter, where she goes to college, she's home right now, but she'll go back here next week. And it is currently tonight -24 with the wind chill.
Oh,
And we were
damn.
figuring out
Oh,
on our way here, one of her teammates lives in Honolulu and she'll be flying in next week.
oh.
And so we looked it up, and in Honolulu right now, it is 87.
Oh, no.
So she's going to experience, provided that the weather stays around the same, about 100-degree temperature drop.
Ooh, that's not good. She's probably gonna get
And go
sick.
from all of that humidity to the super dry, cold air.
Yeah,
I told Mars, you better throw lots of emergency at her. She is going to get sick. Can
yeah.
you imagine?
No.
Oh,
Uh-uh.
so
When
then we
we
had
have
to
we have
make her
like
a
50 to
Snapchat and
60
tell her.
degree,
Yeah.
right? We have like 50 to 60-degree temperature swings pretty often here, and that
Hmm.
is hard on the body, man.
Hmm.
We are not built for
Yeah.
that.
Yep. No, we are not for sure. It sucks. Yeah. Yeah. Well, hello everybody else. Lorian, Barbara, Amy. Good to see everybody. Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. It's nice
So,
to have you here.
so court today was kind of interesting that we had uh there was a motion from the prosecution to basically continue and maybe beef up a restraining order on some information that they do not want the public to receive about this case,
Yeah.
particularly as it applies to Mark Means. Because as you know, Mark Means has been removed from the case from Lori Vallow's. As Lori Vallow's attorney because of incompetence and as well as a conflict of interest. And
Right.
so that's what they were there for.
Mhm.
And what was your takeaway?
Well, it was really just more than anything a clarification. Like, hey, judge, we put this restraining order in to place, and it was after
Mhm,
the grand jury, the secret grand jury findings. And so it's
mhm.
really about the grand jury evidence.
Yes.
And basically, there's this um, restraining order that says, "Hey, none of you get to share this information. None of this should go public.
Yes.
You have to keep this information private and quiet."
Mhm,
There's more to it than that, but the brief behind the whole thing is
mhm.
sealed. We don't get to see it, but
Yeah.
we know that, it's about the grand jury information.
Yes.
And so it got all convoluted and sort of confusing for a while, but really what
Mhm.
they were saying is, "Hey, is that still like in place?
Yeah.
Can we make sure it is? And can
Yes.
we make sure that it does, in fact, apply to Mark Means?" So they weren't applying for
Yes.
anything new. This was really
No.
just like a clarification.
Right.
And the judge did say, yes, absolutely, it is.
Mhm.
They're going to make a couple of little changes to it because it is so broad that the way that Jim Archibald, who is Lori Vallow Daybell's attorney,
Yeah.
interpreted it is like, I'm not even sure I'm allowed to give the grand jury transcripts to my client. And
Mhm.
newsflash, Lori has not seen the grand jury transcripts. You
Can you
know, the
that was
ones
my biggest
that
takeaway.
yeah,
Yeah.
the ones that charge her with, first degree murder, several
Yeah.
counts of. So that was very
What the
interesting. And
hell
he
has Mark Means been doing? It's
um
just further proof that
nothing.
he is not qualified to be a
Right.
criminal attorney, a criminal defense attorney when his client hasn't even seen that
Yeah, seeing
document.
the evidence against her. And yes, she's in a psychiatric hospital and she's not prepared to assist with her defense yet, but she has rights. And one of those rights is to see the
Yeah.
evidence against her. And so
That
they
was
did.
shocking, I thought.
Yes, I thought it really, summed up kind of this has all been the Mark Means show, all about Mark Means, the
Mhm.
prosecutors being mean to me, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
I don't really give a shit about my client
Mhm.
kind of situation. But they
Well, and
basically did decide, yes, this restraining order does apply to everyone, including Mr. Means.
mhm.
We're going to make sure that it's loosened up enough that like our staff that assist us, all of these attorneys and the staff that assist Lori in the
Mhm.
hospital, are exempt from violating that.
Yes. Which
And
of
that
course
was
that's
it.
the way it should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I will say Archibald, he defended Means a little more than I thought he would,
He did. He
you
did.
know. But that's, he is a defense attorney and, that's, birds of a
He
feather
definitely
maybe, but
downplayed Means.
yeah, he did. But the one thing that has my takeaway from Archibald, both of the times we've seen him in court now, is that his biggest concern is his client, as
Right,
it should
definitely.
be. But it's not just about, like you see prior that's like, Your Honor, my client. You know, with Archibald, it's more like, well, I think it would be more fair to my client, or my
Yeah.
understanding is my client doesn't know this or hasn't seen this, and I would like to do this. I
Yeah.
feel like and not that I care if he's nice to Lori or fair to Lori, but I do, because this is the criminal justice system. We want it to be done correctly.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I
Yes.
don't care if he, treats Lori with kid gloves or whatever. That doesn't matter to me. But the fact that his biggest concern is his client and her rights
Right.
and what she needs to know and what needs to be done is refreshing.
Mhm.
And I think it's amazing. that through
It
all of
is.
this time here, that means has not even showed her that document. Like, are you kidding me?
Right, and it's like a huge like, it's a friggin' book, I'm sure, because it's 5 days of testimony,
Mhm.
but
Also,
yeah,
it's a lot of people that she thought were her friends.
right?
And I feel like in her coming to in the process of spiffing her up and getting her back to court,
Yeah,
she needs to see this stuff.
right.
She needs to get real.
She really does. She has to,
Mhm.
be able to be aware of, what everyone has said, what's
Mhm.
been laid out against her, and it definitely is a part of bringing her back to reality.
Mhm.
Like, "Hey, this is what all your buddies said about you," you
Yeah.
know? Yeah,
They
I
didn't
agree.
say
So,
that you are a goddess here to save the world, Lori.
yeah,
They said that these are the things that you have done and said.
that you're crazy and you killed your kids, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's wild. Yep. Red Girl said, I think Means was planning on a book or a movie deal of his own. So I agree with you. The only thing that we have to bear in mind is that, and of course, Mr. Archibald brought this up today, whether Mark is still her attorney or not, he is still bound to the same attorney client privilege. He's still bound to be loyal to her by
right.
law.
Yeah.
But there's some things there. Is Mark Means going to be disbarred? And if he is, then can he squawk like a bird without
Uh,
any
I
ramifications?
I mean, I still think he could be, charged for violating
Yeah,
her attorney-client privilege at the time that he was an attorney.
right. You would think so. Well, at the time that he was an attorney, but what if he's not?
I still think that stands.
I hope so.
That's
I
a,
hope so.
part of their job, you know?
Yeah. For as long as she's alive, he can't violate attorney client privilege. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you, Jerry. Uh,
yeah,
Good to note. Yeah. So, but we don't know. We don't know with Mark what his plans are. He's, done things. Now he's been
right.
tweeting just a little. You want
Yeah.
to share those tweets?
Let me share with you all, because when I saw the first one come out, I was like, "Oh, you knew
We've been waiting. We've been checking Twitter
you
every
have."
day.
This is
Yeah.
the first one. Caveat, it doesn't make any sense, so I will, try to interpret it. President John Adams once said, "Counsel ought to be the very last thing that an accused person should want in a free country." I
Wait,
think
what?
he means want for in a free country because counsel is definitely something that an accused person should want. I think he missed a word. And then that a persons whose lives were at stake ought to have the counsel they preferred.
Wait a minute.
So,
This live for one of their other probations.
right, which one? Yeah. Liberty once lost is lost forever, John Adams. So, of course, we know what he's
Hmm.
referring to here
Yeah.
poorly and still did not get Grammarly 100%. But he's basically implying that Lori has lost her liberty in not being able to have the attorney that she wanted to have. No
Hmm.
responsibility for his own behavior here, of course.
No.
And then a few days later, this one showed up, and this is a quote by Harry Truman. "Once a government is committed to the principle of silencing the voice of opposition, it has only one way to go down the path of increasingly repressive measures until it becomes a source of terror to its citizens and creating a country where everyone lives in fear." President Harry Truman. Wow. Catastrophize much, Mark means?
Well,
Because
yes.
so I
Yes,
thought
yes,
those
he
were
does.
very interesting. Kind of,
Hmm.
where his head is, this whole
Hmm.
martyrdom crap, clearly taking
Hmm.
no responsibility for the choices that he made to get himself in this situation. What a dum dum.
It kills me because there is a pre-existing, or there is a conflict of interest issue. There is. He
Yeah.
knows it. Everyone knows it. Like, how can he even argue with that? I mean, he lied about it in open court, so I guess he has no, you know, worry. But really, I mean, it's clear as a bell. There really shouldn't be any like argument about that.
No. No, there shouldn't, and, the thing is Lori is not without an attorney, she's not without
No,
adequate and, skilled representation.
for sure.
She has all of those things, but definitely, this was a big, drama queen moment. There was a whole,
Mhm.
"Oh,
Yes.
poor little Marky Means" kind of
Yep.
moment for him.
It's not
But
fair.
well, and he's, sort of using this as though, "Oh, this is so terrible for his client."
Mhm.
No, it isn't. She's got a way better attorney now. Her representation just went way up without him.
But
He I'm
what will
sure
she do without her blue-eyed angel baby?
right, yeah, there's a whole lot of that.
Weird, inappropriate situation
Aaron
going on
Mark's
here.
head is in a warm, dark place with no oxygen, but plenty of hot air.
Too funny. Yep.
That was funny.
Oh, good lord. This is so bananas. So, we'll just keep tracking it, but that's what happened today in, court, and,
Yep.
yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. Also, Lindsay Blake, straight up badass. She was
Yeah,
so great today. I love her.
she's awesome. Although she started the virus of voluminous.
Yes.
And then,
And it took hold.
Archibald said it, and several
Mhm.
it went back and forth again.
There was
Like,
a
when she said
voluminous
that word,
amount of voluminous
voluminous
going on. Yes.
voluminous, evidence in this case, all that stuff, it was way funny. That she
Were we
started it
playing
again.
Yeah. Yep, GB, I'm with you. Were we playing a drinking game during that? We would have all been falling down on
Right?
voluminous. Yep.
It was
Yes.
pretty great. But, yeah, she's very well spoken,
Mhm.
and it was pretty cool because at one point, she muted herself and then asked the other attorneys in the room if anyone had anything else they wanted to say, but it was pretty cool that she's the one running the show there.
Mhm. Yep. Love it. Love it. Well, let's talk about Maxwell.
Oh,
Now we
you
called this last week. Not that this was any big hard to predict surprise, but last week
no.
we said, that immediately now her attorneys are going to start picking apart the jury and trying to get back into court. And that's exactly what's happened. One of the jurors did an interview and said that he was sexually abused as a child. And apparently, in the juror form that you fill out, to be even considered to be a juror, he said that he was not,
Oh, boy. But,
or
I
had
mean,
no
the
history
gall
or
of this
background of
freaking
that.
woman.
hmm So her lawyers have rushed back to court and they are demanding a new trial because a juror lied.
So, I mean, all they wanna do is invalidate victims over and over and over and over again, and now we've got a
hmm
juror who's been invalidated because
hmm
they're a victim. I mean,
Yep.
come on. How how else would a predator behave than
Yep.
this?
Yep. And to keep putting the witnesses through this over and over and over. Well, we'll see. I mean, the judge doesn't have to grant it, but they may.
Right, they don't have to grant it, and, I don't know. There'll be a lot of jockeying around that for
Right.
sure.
I mean, in the George Floyd matter, this happened right after as well in the Derek Chauvin trial that one of the jurors uh, had said he'd never been to a Black Lives Matter protest, but as it turned out, he had been to something else that there was some Black Lives Matter activity going on there of some sort, and they tried to get back into court because of that, and the judge was like, no, that's stupid, not
Yeah,
happening."
yeah,
So it
which
could
is good.
happen,
Oh,
but
and
when the juror was asked about it, he said that he really rushed through the form and doesn't remember seeing anything like that.
ah,
Really rushed through the form? They vetted the hell out of these jurors. What?
yeah.
Ugh, yeah.
I don't know, but I think that invalidating someone because they've been a victim of abuse is bullshit.
Mhm.
First of all, good luck finding a jury of people that there are no jurors on there that have not been sexually abused. I mean, let's get
Mhm.
real.
Mhm.
Half that jury was women. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, give me a
Yeah.
friggin' break.
Yeah. Truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll keep an eye on that. No big surprise. And frankly, this is probably just the first of many. holes they'll try to shoot in the jurors, but
Oh,
they got
yeah,
their
they're
1st
they're
one handed to them on a silver platter.
they are gonna try everything, of course,
Mhm.
you know, but that
Yep.
doesn't mean it will be effective.
No. No.
Fran's asking if we can go back to talk about the, um, Mark Means moving thing. I started to talk about it on the live stream, and then the live started.
Yes.
So this came from someone else in a Facebook group, so,
Mhm.
it is hearsay at this point, but what we've heard is that he moved from Idaho to Missouri in September of 2021,
Mhm.
and that this person saying this has done some research and discovered that
Yep.
he did in fact sell his Idaho home and he purchased a home in Missouri.
Yeah.
So that's what we know at this
Mhm.
point. It is weird because that is where Lori went
Mhm.
to find, a new place for the 144,000. And if you know, the Mormons are big fans of Missouri. They believe that
Mhm.
that's where the Garden of Eden was. And anyway,
It's weird. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, and the more we learn about it, we'll let you know, but yeah, very
definitely.
interesting.
Oh, Donna, yes, I forgot. That was the other Maxwell thing is that her husband
Oh, right.
is divorcing her,
Mhm.
and that she had turned all of her assets over to him to protect them. And now he's left her for a younger woman.
Yes.
I don't know. Couldn't have happened to a nicer gal, right?
A younger, less rapey woman,
Yeah,
something?
maybe
Yeah.
younger, less rapey woman. I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah, she's gonna start losing her friends now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's what's for dinner. Yep.
Yeah,
Hello, Kathy, good to have you here. Yeah, Missouri.
yep, in
Yes,
Missouri.
that's what the cat I can see this right now. Red girl's like, "Wait a minute. You just said Missouri and Garden of Eden in the same sentence. Did you say that?" Yeah, she said that.
Yeah, Mormons believe that.
Mhm.
Just so you know.
Yep. And that's why.
Look up Mormons and the Garden of Eden. You'll probably find a lot on Wikipedia. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep, yep. Yeah, her assets should belong to the victims.
They
Amen.
should,
Agreed.
right? I mean,
Mhm.
um, Jeffrey Epstein's did. A bunch of
Right.
them have already
Yeah.
received a significant amount of money.
Mhm. They should get it all.
Red girl's like, "Okay."
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Right at the corner by the, Walgreens and 7-Eleven across the street, and
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't know where. I'm just
I
saying.
can't remember a lot of I should know the history about that. I don't remember a lot of it, but hey, look it up on Wikipedia. I bet there's a bunch of info.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. So we touched lightly on, George Floyd, and there's more this week. On Saturday, there was a shooting in Houston at family members of George Floyd, and his grandniece, who is a child, was shot.
4. It's
Yeah,
tiny.
4 years old. Somebody shot up their home, and their 4-year-old was shot and injured.
Yeah. She's
Yep.
gonna be okay, but she's
Mhm.
hurt.
Yep.
It's just and his mother, believes that, they were targeted.
Mhm.
We don't know a lot more about it yet, but we will keep an eye on it because that's
Yep.
just horrifying.
Now, this is family that has protested quite a bit. They have been outspoken. They've said a lot about police brutality and about what happened to George Floyd, and they don't know, but they wonder if somebody
Mhm.
shot their house up on purpose, if this was what this was about.
Yeah.
Uh, 5 or 6 bullets went into the house and hit this sleeping child in bed.
Yeah.
And it was on New Year's Eve. It happened on New Year's Day at about 3 a.m. But yeah,
Yeah. It's
yep,
just it's just terrifying though. My god,
yep.
to wake
George
up to that.
Floyd, the niece of George Floyd, grandniece of George Floyd.
Yes,
Yeah,
grandniece of George Floyd. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah, Derek Chauvin, well, he's in jail, so
yeah,
but I guess, there are questions about, if someone was supportive of him.
yeah. If they would attack this family, yeah.
God, I hope
So
not.
thank God she's going to be okay. But how scary! How absolutely terrifying!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Okay, so we had talked a little before about the guy in Colorado who
Yes.
was in a semi wreck in 2019. where 4 people were killed, and he was sentenced to 110 years in jail because of that accident, which was an accident. Uh,
He
a lot
had
of
his brakes failed,
mhm,
and yeah, but because of, minimum sentencing laws in Colorado, he ends up with 100 because of all of the, it was sort of this whole domino effect of accidents. He
mhm,
gets 110 years in prison.
yeah, and, he was just a truck driver doing his job, and had a very unfortunate accident that was a horrible thing. 110 years, 110 years. We have other people walking away who've been committing, well, murder and things, and this guy gets 110 years.
Right.
Uh, so a lot of people were signing petitions and crying out to Jared Polis, the governor, to do something about this. So he commuted his sentence down to 10 years with the possibility of parole. So he'll be uh, eligible for parole in the end of 2026.
Yeah.
I personally don't think he should do a day or
I
whatever he's
I
already
don't
done.
either.
Like I don't, but God, at least it's not the rest of his life. And this
Right.
is just a starting point because there's a whole team of attorneys now that are representing him and working this case over, and it may get
Right.
better for him yet, but this is a good start at least.
It is, and it is a reason why, there are a lot of questions around if sentencing minimums should be a thing,
Yeah.
especially in nonviolent crimes.
Mhm.
If sentencing minimum I think in violent crimes, yeah, but in
Mhm.
nonviolent crimes, why do we have minimums, like minimum requirements? Judges should be able to determine those things, that's why they're there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
interesting stuff, but I'm very glad for this
Mhm.
man,
Yeah.
that there's you know
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, yep. Yes, there is new evidence in West Memphis 3. We covered it on Monday.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did a whole case on it.
we have a whole episode about it, Jerry. Look at our
Mhm.
Monday episode this week, and yeah,
Yeah.
we went over it. It has not been tested yet, so it's going to be tested as blood evidence. So
Yeah.
there's gonna be
Yeah.
some more information coming there.
But it could be big news. Yeah.
Ooh, it could.
Yes. You wanna hate the laundry some more? I knew you did.
Oh, do we still have to
Yeah.
talk about those stupid people?
These, of course, are the parents of Brian Laundrie. Brian, who, is believed to have murdered Gabby Petito in Grand Teton National Forest, and then left her there and drove back to, uh, Florida and blah blah blah. You guys all know the story. And then, of course, slipped away from his parents and law enforcement that were supposedly keeping an eye on him, and went ahead and shot himself. And then,
Yeah,
of course, his parents just have been uncooperative turds and just, it's not been good, as you all know.
right.
Anyway, so his parents apparently Brian has a bank account with 20K in it. So why did he
And
steal
that's why
$1,000 from his dead girlfriend to come back to Florida? Why?
right, that's why he commit wire fraud or whatever, stealing her money after he killed her to
Yeah,
drive
he had
this guy.
$20,000 in
Ugh.
the bank. Yeah, yeah. So there's that. But the
Mhm.
other thing is that they are petitioning the FBI to return to them the notebook. Remember, when
Yes.
they found Brian, they also found a backpack with a notebook in it. Now, the FBI has never said if there was anything useful in the notebook, or, it was in a swamp. So we don't know. Some people had said it was actually sealed in a plastic bag. So maybe there was evidence in it. We don't know.
We're not
Hey,
sure.
Misty, the, the FBI's never said, but they want it. So they're petitioning the courts for it. In the meantime, Gabby's family has also filed a petition trying to get the rest of her stuff from
Yeah.
Brian's family.
Yeah.
So, Bertolino, I believe is his name, the attorney
Yeah.
for the Laundries, he's saying that he and the Petito's attorney, Mr. Swafford, that they are working amicably together to make sure both families get everything they need and blah, blah, blah. F you Laundries, give them her stuff.
Yeah,
That's all.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Screw those guys.
Right. I have nothing nice to say about it.
Well,
Yeah.
and, they're trying to take care of his estate, which includes getting access to that $20,000,
Mhm.
which that just makes me sick. Like,
Which, I mean,
you
yes,
should
they
probably
do have
send
to
that money
reach
right
out
on over to Gabby Petito's parents, you assholes. But
or to some domestic violence fund somewhere, do something
yeah,
good with it
or
for
to
Christ's
Teton
sake.
County, Wyoming to help pay for all of the stuff they went through to find her, or maybe
Mhm.
to all of the, law enforcement locally who searched for him for 6 weeks in that friggin' swamp,
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Yeah. Also, there is a report being put together about the Moab traffic stop,
Yes.
and it is close to being released. Probably not this week, but next, according to Brian Enton. And so that's going to be really interesting too,
Mhm. Well,
because a
and we'll
lot of
find
people,
out, like, was there any consequences for the police that handled that and
yeah,
all that
or is there going
ridiculous
to be,
crap.
or how does that work? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
Oh, excuse
yep,
me.
yep. All righty. So there's all of that jazz. Yeah. Yes, Mary Beth, I did hear about this. A woman that was dumped by the side of the road in Arizona, and nobody's
Yeah.
identified her. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on that one. That's really sad, and I'm sure someone's missing her. Yeah,
Yeah. We'll
yeah.
keep an eye on that one. We actually have one locally that a body was found in a field,
Yes.
around Christmas time, and
Mhm.
that person has been identified as someone from Colorado.
Yeah.
So, we don't know the whole story there, but we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll let you know about
Mhm.
it too.
Yeah, for sure. So we brought to you the story of little Harmony on Tuesday. This is Harmony Montgomery, who was 5 in 2019 when she went missing, though it was just brought to law enforcement's attention the last week of, well, the last week of the year, just last week,
Yeah.
that she's been missing since 2019. And they
Ugh.
didn't know. Uh, Essentially, she was turned over to the custody of her father, who, well, who what? Who doesn't have her,
Yep.
who's been in prison and back out and was living in a halfway house. And we reported that we thought he was living in a halfway house. He actually has been out of the halfway house for a few months and has been living in his car with his new girlfriend. That's what we learned from the court documents. Why were there court documents? Because he got arrested last night.
Yep.
Waived
At least
arraignment
they
this
have
morning.
him.
Yes, but they do have him in custody. Um, the court documents were interesting. I mean, essentially, here's what's happened is that mom is the one who, has been ringing Department of Child and Family Services bell going, where the hell is my daughter?
Yeah.
And they finally took her seriously and did a little looking and discovered that they have no idea where her daughter is.
Yeah.
They didn't know where the dad is. They didn't know, well, anything.
Yeah.
So, of course, then they turned it over to the police. And it didn't take the police very long to find dad. The thing is, the house that they thought he lived in, they haven't lived in since October of 2019 when it was foreclosed on.
Yeah.
So, Adam has been in the wind ever since that. But they have some testimony from family members and people who know them. And one of the things that they learned is that Harmony had a black eye in the summertime. And when a family member asked why Harmony had a black eye, he said that he's been busting her up all over this house.
Mm.
Why? Because Adam went to the bathroom and Adam was in charge of Harmony and his two much younger babies. Harmony was 5. And Harmony was supposed to be watching the babies so dad could go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom? I mean, how long does this take? Go to the
Right.
bathroom, my ass. He was
Yeah.
probably getting high because the
Probably.
family members said that he had relapsed at this point. Anyway, so according to dad, he came out of the bathroom and Harmony had her hand clamped over the little one's mouth and wasn't allowing them to cry. And so for that, he busted her in the face and gave her a black eye. She was 5. She was tiny. She's also blind in one eye and wears glasses.
Yeah.
Uh, Another family member said that they were at the house when he was being very mean with her and forced her to scrub the toilet out with her toothbrush.
Ugh,
Here's what sucks, you guys. Some of these family members did call CPS at the time.
yeah.
They didn't do anything. Yeah, they didn't do anything. So the last that Harmony was ever seen is October of 2019. Dad told police that mom came and took her, and that's all he's ever seen of her. Mom
He's such a
says
lying
that's
dick.
not true.
Ugh,
Mom didn't have custody of her. And mom thought that Adam and his new wife were hiding Harmony from her.
right?
That's what it looked like had been happening. Well, that's what dad told CPS, that Crystal, the mom, came and got her. Well, what they went and talked to Adam's ex-wife, who he has 3 little kids with. My
Uh,
God,
yeah.
Harmony would be 7, and he has 3 more. He has 4 children under the age of 7.
My God.
What? And he can't stay out of prison.
And he's the guy that got custody, if that tells you anything about this situation.
He's the guy that got custody, and when they were in high school, he shot a kid in the face and had been in prison for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harmony had a little brother, and they were both being fostered by the same family, 2 different dads. The other family, the foster family, adopted that little guy,
Right.
and they wanted to adopt Harmony. And the Department of Family and Children and Family Services thought that it would be better if they let Adam have her.
Ugh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. So the ex wife told the police that one day in October of that year of 2019, she was at work and Adam told her that he was driving to take Harmony to her mother, who I believe she was in another state. So he was driving one state over to take Harmony and leave her with Crystal. He didn't like Harmony there. He didn't like Harmony, I don't think. She was apparently too much for him. So, and she never saw Harmony again. And so she just assumed it was true. She said he never mentioned Harmony again. She was just gone. So the
Okay, but
police are like,
other
okay, so Adam's saying that Harmony's mother came and got her, right?
yeah,
He's his wife's saying he took Harmony and dropped her off. At any rate, and they're, hearing about the abuse, and that was enough for them to decide this guy's lying and he hurt this
mhm,
baby and there's everything wrong with this. And also he was the custodial parent at the time. So here's the charges. Felony second degree assault from the time that he blacked her eye.
mhm,
One misdemeanor charge of interference with custody and 2 misdemeanor charges of endangering the welfare of a child. Now, we know, we know that there has to be uh, investigation here. We know that the public is screaming for murder charges. Think
right.
about the Vallow case and the way this
Yep.
works, right?
Same,
They got
same,
some
same.
charges out and slapped him on him so that they could get him into jail. And he's got all kinds of priors. They won't have a hard time holding him there. And then they have to work on all of this, right? Then
Right,
they have to work on all of this. So they're still looking for her. Yesterday, when we reported on this story, or 2 days ago, there was a $12,500 reward. That's at nearly 50,000 now because of local business people who've been throwing more and more money in the pot to try to get somebody to talk.
yeah, which
Because
is
per
really good.
always, somebody knows something.
You
Yeah,
know they do. Somebody does, for sure.
yeah. And that's true, Joyce or Joy. And yeah, reunification is usually the goal. But
Right.
unfortunately, in this case, Adam wasn't fit. He wasn't
No.
fit to raise her.
No, and parents could have agreed, to allow her to be adopted because obviously mom did agree to the
Mhm.
adoption of the little brother and the father of that child. Um, so,
Yeah.
likely it was Adam who did not agree
Yeah.
with, Harmony
Mhm.
and then took her, and then now this is what's happened.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep. Yep. So, at least he's in custody, and it seems like people are starting to speak up, which is good. Hey, Bianca. Uh,
Nice
but
to see
that's
you,
what we
Bianca.
know at this point. So I'm glad that they found him, considering the fool was living in his car.
Yeah, and,
The girlfriend,
maybe the longer they hold him, he may start talking.
mhm, the girlfriend says that he said before that he has an older child, but she's never really heard much about her and would have no idea where she is or anything about that. It's like she just doesn't exist, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm afraid she doesn't,
No,
honestly.
no. Well,
Not
no, because
anymore.
at this point, either he sold her or he killed her.
Right. And
Is
there
there
aren't
another
many
answer?
options. No.
Yeah.
No, there isn't.
Yep. Yep. Very, very sad. This is a tough one. We hate it, but we're going to keep following it for sure. Yeah. And to keep an eye on this case. I see my ring light died.
Yes, it did.
Anyway, so that is that. Let's see. Have we missed anything? We had a lot tonight.
Oh, yes, Canada. Okay, Canada has stepped up in a
Yes.
big way.
Yes, they
They
have.
have pledged $31.5 billion or 40 billion in Canadian dollars to settle with families and in First Nations families whose children were lost to the Indian schools,
Hmm.
basically. And so some of that money will actually go to settle with families whose children were removed
Yeah.
over the past 3 decades.
Hmm.
And the rest will go toward working on the actual child welfare system and making things better. So it's a
Yep.
really big step. It's
It's
the
huge.
best step that's been taken by anybody.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, that I think is
Yeah.
pretty that's a really good start.
Hmm.
Oh, and we have a couple things in the Mast case too.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
So
How
in
could there
the
not be more stalling in the Mast case?
right, and there really is. So in the Jessica Mast murder, it's been a year. Courtney was granted a change of venue to Webster County.
Wow.
So she has been granted to move her trial to a different county. One of the weird things in this case is that these 4 people are charged in separate cases. They're all going to go to court on
Yeah.
in different cases, which is one reason why it's so slow. And court for Ethan Mast has been continued to February 22nd, which is all they just freaking keep doing for a whole
Yeah.
year is continuing.
Yep. Yep. It just keeps going
No
and
Cassidy
on and
Rainwater
on.
news. No, nothing
No.
official.
Uh-uh. I think those guys are both due in court here shortly, but
Yeah. I think we'll be seeing more now. It was things slowed down in that case through the holidays.
yeah.
But I think we'll be seeing a lot more because I think their preliminaries are coming up. So
Mhm. They are. They are. That we'll see that pick up. There is more news in a case out of Colorado, and I cannot think of this guy's name, and it's so dumb. You know, the guy who was accused of killing his wife on Mother's Day. You know. Somebody knows. Put it in the chat. Help me.
I'm not I mean, there's
Yes,
a
you
lot of guys that have killed their wives on
It was
Mother's Day.
well, he was accused of killing his wife on Mother's Day. It took a whole year, and they arrested him just about, like, the day after Mother's Day
Oh,
the next year. You know who I'm talking about.
yeah, I do. Morphew.
Morphew!
Very Morphew.
Ran
Oh my god. Okay,
ran to
yes.
the rescue.
Suzanne
Barry
Morphew. Thank
Morphew.
you. Thank you. Yes.
He has been demanding a new judge in his trial, and he got it.
Really?
Yes, he's the one that voted on her behalf. Yeah, Joy, that's
Yes.
correct.
Genius.
Mhm. Ah, you guys are the
Wow.
best. Look at everybody lines up. Barry Morphew. Come on, girls.
You got this. It's a
Yeah,
lot of
it's not.
cases to keep up here, I gotta tell you. It's
It
pretty
is
full.
impressive. I wanted to pull that one up earlier today, and I couldn't remember his name, and, well, I had to drive on snowy roads today, and so I'm fried. I don't do that, so
Right. That is
it
true.
ruined
You
my brains.
don't.
Yeah, but he did get a new, judge, so that is interesting,
That is.
because they're still riding
More on
on the
Morphew, yes,
same,
that one.
more on Morphew. That's how you remember it. There you go. Okay, now it's here. More on Morphew. Uh, it's significant because his attorneys still allege that there was evidence, in the glove box of someone's truck. Anyway, there was some evidence, with a known serial rapist in the area with some DNA evidence that the police refused to process because they were so determined to pin this on Barry, and the judge wasn't really interested in hearing that. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
They've got a new judge. We'll see what happens.
Yep, we will.
Look, as much as I want it to be Barry, if it was Barry, if it
Dude,
wasn't,
yeah, because he's trash, but,
right.
I mean, we certainly want to get the right person,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we absolutely do because if not, then someone else got away with murder.
right?
I mean, Barry's trash either way. He just is.
Yeah.
But if he didn't do it, we can't. This angle of getting, so focused on one person and not really investigating anything else, it happens too much. We have to see all angles. And
Well,
if
it's
there's
like the
truly
West
DNA
Memphis 3,
evidence,
that's exactly what happened there,
absolutely
and
100%.
so much was, you know, avoided in that case, and so much was not, addressed, and that's the exact same thing that we're coming up against with it now,
Yes.
is, "Oh, hey, there might actually be some evidence that shows who did do it and who did not do it," and that's
Yeah.
what we're waiting on now, but, I mean, it's been 30 years?
Yeah.
25 years? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, at any rate, we want to see what happens here and keep tracking that. But it is interesting that he did get a new judge, which usually in most trials you can get a new judge once.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
you get to pull that card one time, and then that's it.
hmm so this is probably his only chance to pull that one, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had been checking to see if there's anything new in the Ariel Kalua case, and there doesn't seem to be anything new at this point.
Just waiting for court dates, probably.
Just waiting for court dates for mom and dad. Yeah. I had
Yeah.
kind of thought they had court early this year, but I don't see anything coming up. So we'll keep an eye on that one because they should be back in court
Oh.
here shortly.
Yes, Donna, thank you. This is a case I've been interested in. Oakley Carlson out of Washington. Have you seen this one, Katie?
No.
Her older sister says she was eaten by wolves a year ago. That's what she was told.
Oh, no.
And foster parents kept calling the police because no one had seen her. Yeah, we're gonna look into that one too, Donna.
Oh,
That's one
good
that I
Lord.
had kinda on my back burner.
Boy, that sounds like a story you would tell a kid, doesn't it?
Yeah. She went out in the woods
Mm,
alone like she's not supposed to, and she got eaten by wolves. Yeah, you can hear
mhm.
it.
That's what happens to naughty little girls. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hell. Yikes. Well, we wanted to come into 2022 without any bullshit, but here we are.
It's just never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that would scar them for life when that child actually disappears. No kidding.
Yeah. That's scary as hell. What a
Mhm.
thing to say to a
Yeah.
kid.
Well, yeah, particularly if that kid doesn't come back. My God.
Yeah. Oof.
Yep. We'll keep an eye on it. Yep. The law enforcement in Arkansas. What about him, Kathy?
What's going on with law
Oh,
enforcement
I
in
don't know.
Arkansas? I don't either.
I'm not sure either. Okay. Yeah. Well,
Well,
yeah, we'll keep an eye on
we'll
that one.
take a look.
Most certainly. Yes. Yep. Well, did we do it?
We did it.
I think we did it. I think we covered it all. Well, I was gonna say there was one more thing in the Maxwell trial that I didn't know. Did you guys know she's being brought up on new charges of perjury?
Yes. Yeah, I did know that.
So she's
It's an
not done
old
with the word.
case.
Yeah, 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 from an old case where she perjured herself. Because now they're kinda
Yeah,
like, "All right, well, you know what? You're not rich, fancy, and cool anymore. You are convicted, and now we're just gonna start trying you for all the shit that you've done." Which,
yeah.
too bad we didn't do that in the first place. Maybe she wouldn't have gotten away with so freaking much. But
Well, and also, okay, but she trafficked young girls.
yeah.
2 men.
Mhm.
Who are
Yep.
these men?
Yep.
Where are these men? Why
Yep.
are these men not charged? I mean, we know Jeffrey Epstein, but there were other men involved, you know?
Yeah.
And there's certainly stuff going on with Prince Andrew and the civil trial that's going
Yes.
on,
Mhm.
with him and Virginia Giuffre, but we don't have a total, uh, story on that yet, but we
Yeah.
will. Probably by next week, we'll be able to give you the full story on that.
Yes, for sure. We'll keep an eye on it. And speaking of that, if you guys have noticed, we have started season 3. This is
Yes.
our first Wednesday night case updates of season 3. So you might notice that we have a new intro and outro, but we
Yes, we
also have a
do.
new format to our regular cases, our regular events, which come out on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And we have, of course, always our main story, but we're also adding 2 sub stories to every episode.
Yep.
It's a way that we can bring a little bit more info to every show and also just some interesting stuff. So we have a bunch of categories. We have weird crime time, we have creepy crime, we have missing persons spotlight, we have MMIW cases, we have,
Racial
what
injustice.
yes, racial injustice. Yeah, we've got a bunch of different categories now that we can, tap into so that we just have a little bit more. We can bring a little bit more to the table.
Yeah.
Oh, we have Oh,
DNA for the
Idaho.
win and MMIW.
Yes, MMIW, DNA for the win. Yeah, and Oh, Idaho, which, my husband said, "You're probably gonna also need Oh, Florida, and Oh, Utah."
Yeah, I want Ugh, Utah. I want
Yeah,
Ugh, Utah.
Ugh,
Um,
Utah. Yeah.
'Cause some dumb shit happens there too, and it's right next to us, and it bleeds in,
Mhm.
yeah.
They deserve it as well. Somebody said Idaho has become the, Florida of the West, and I don't know that they're wrong.
Ugh, sadly true, right?
But the funny thing about Idaho is that we have some wild crime too, because, like, where I live, until the Vallow case happened, we were a very slow crime city. And so the stuff that comes into the news is just freaking hilarious
Yeah,
because
'cause
our
it's
crime, our shocking crime is like panty stealers and, you know, stuff like
when we
that.
were kids, it was people sunbathing in bikinis on their front lawn, like, it
Yes.
was people literally called the cops for stuff like that.
Hmm. Oh, Diane's in Utah. Then you know Diane. You know what we're saying.
Right.
Yep. You love the new rock star mic? Yes, I'm not at home tonight. I'm at my daughter's house, and so I had to bring my portable stuff. So this is my portable mic. What happened to the funeral home in Pocatello? Not a thing. Nothing. We
Radio
keep
silence at
watching.
this point.
East Idaho News has been on it like constantly, keeping an eye because there should be charges by now. There should be some stuff happening. Nothing.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's crickets,
Hmm.
which
Yeah.
sucks.
Oh, Diane. Oh, yeah. Diane said, "Yeah, she gets it." Oh, you. Oh, oh, yes. Ugh, Utah.
Yeah.
She said her youngest daughter and family lived next door to Chad before they got arrested. Oh, honey. Yep.
Oh, wow.
But I lived right down the road. Yep.
Right?
Well, a ways down the road. Yeah. Oh, Mary said someone tried to break into her granddaughter's window last night. Ooh.
Ooh, yikes.
Oh boy. Yeah. I'm amazed that there's been no charges in the funeral home thing. Amazed. This is some good old boy
Ridiculous.
bullshit if I ever saw any.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But the day is young. Maybe they'll still get there. They should.
We'll
There should
see.
be some justice.
I hope so. I hope so because what happened there is horrendous,
Mhm.
and we need to make 100% sure nothing like that ever happens again.
There's another really, graphic funeral home case out of, New York that
Yeah,
happened
there
just
is.
recently. I didn't report
Ugh,
on it because I just don't think I can handle it.
I know.
Pocatello, made my stomach hurt for weeks. I just can't do
Yeah,
it again. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, nothing new, Oriana. Nothing new. We were just talking about the funeral home case in Pocatello from last week or last fall. Not last week, last fall.
No, last fall. Yeah, it's been a while, but if we
Yeah.
hear anything, we are gonna tell you. Oh, maybe we need a Florida man segment. Maybe we do.
An Idaho man and a funeral man, or a Florida man,
The
a
Florida
funeral
man.
man.
Yeah, we may need that.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, Red Girl said, I have a friend that's a mortician and she's furious about those cases. Ooh, I'll bet.
Oh, I'll
Mm,
bet. Ooh,
yeah.
make your whole industry look bad when people do stupid shit like that. Oh,
Oh, yeah. Yes. Terrible. Yeah. So who knows? We'll keep an eye on it. But I'm a little afraid that they really are just going to sweep this one under the rug. And, I had talked about it on one of our lives, but I went to my lab where I get, well, labs drawn. And right as this case was happening, and the girl that took my blood was like, "Oh, it's just so terrible. He goes to my parents' church and like he is the nicest person. And the thing is, that there's just all of these like, poor people who just can't pay. And he's just like too nice and won't tell anyone no. And he just got really overwhelmed by all of the people who couldn't pay their bills. And he was just trying to take care of everyone. And also, she tried to blame all of those fetuses. This Remember,
oof.
there were 50 fetuses that, as turned out, were supposed to have been cremated. They came from a collection of fetuses from ISU, where they were using them as teaching tools from
Right.
they were from the 90s and they were supposed to have been cremated and they hadn't been. But we didn't know that at the time. And she tried to say that, yeah, all of these girls just come in there after they've just like had an abortion or whatever and just give him their fetuses to take care of or something. So
And I'm
it was
like,
this was
what?
all the poor people and the whores. The poors and the
And
whores. It was all their faults. Yeah.
and that does no. That is not how any of this works.
I was
Not at all.
speechless. Speechless.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid that that may really be the going narrative amongst plenty of people that
Yeah.
he just got in over his head trying to help all the poors. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he was
Always blame the poor
doing
people. It's their fault.
like
Yeah.
the county would pay for cremations for people who couldn't pay, but the
Hmm.
county did pay. Like it's not like
Yeah.
and you can opt to do those or not do them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oy, yuck.
Yep. Yep. Really terrible. Yep. We have a Floridian here and she agrees.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Yes, we agree too. Targeted Barbara. Yeah, the shooting of George Floyd's grandniece.
Yep. Yeah, we did talk about it earlier if you missed it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's
Yeah,
oof, not good.
that family probably needs to move, unfortunately.
Yeah.
There's a guy I follow on TikTok. Some of you guys probably do too, named Lance. He is a Native American guy that is doing a ton of work in racial injustice, and he's a super cool dude. But he pisses people off because he calls people colonizer.
Yeah.
And so in his videos, he always says, "Hey, colonizer," and then explains some fact, some point, about colonization and about Native America and things like that. And he's amazing.
He is.
But he has had to move out of fear for his safety
Yeah.
because his address got released on TikTok, on the wrong side of TikTok, and his life has been threatened. His life has been threatened for having the nerve to stand up and speak out about the very real issues facing Native America, as well as all of the racial injustice that they have suffered. I mean,
Right.
he's just telling the truth, but man, it pisses people off.
Oh, yeah.
Holy. They
to
can't
the
hear
point
it.
of being dangerous. Yeah, Modern Warrior, Red Girl. Yeah, Modern Warrior. It's
Thank you.
awesome.
Yes, Modern Warrior. Yep. Yeah, Lance Sosi. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. We are we're living in a mess, guys. Yep. Yep.
Truth, but we're here to report on it.
Yep. Yep, for sure. Yep. Alrighty. Well, guys, we have done it. We probably better get out of here. So,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us. We will be back tomorrow night at 7 for our very first psychic hour of the year, and it's marching
Ooh.
orders.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes, it is.
So it's gonna be a great. Oh,
Yes,
Red
it
Girl
is.
bought a Hey Colonizer shirt. I should. I don't know why I haven't.
I would
That
like one too. Yeah, I need to do it.
Yeah, that would help support Lance too, because he's needed help to get the hell out of there and get
Yeah,
safe. Yeah. People are
right.
just nuts. Ugh,
Yeah.
the worst. Except
Mhm.
for you guys and us. I mean,
Yeah.
That's what we all think. Alrighty, you guys. Well, this has been yet another production of True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Take care.
Bye, everybody.